Hello, and welcome to the East Africa Business Podcast. I'm Sam Floy, and I'm here on the continent to learn about the emerging business scene. I'll be interviewing startups, investors, and organisations who are all playing their part in helping the region develop and grow. And in doing this podcast, I'll be sharing with you the things that I learned along the way. If you consider businesses that bring people joy, for me at least, cake is one of them. It's also a product which is being bought by the emerging middle class, especially in Kenya, with custom-made ones being sold for up to $180. Grace not only makes these cakes, but teaches others how to, with her Cake Academy. We discuss the customers who are buying cakes, how she taught her team to run the business when she was on maternity leave, and innovations that are existing within the cake industry. The interview took place outside her shop, and so there is a bit of background noise and not all the answers are fully audible. We've done our best to edit them, but if you'd like to see some more information, do check out the show notes at samfloy.com/podcast, where you can also see pictures of some of Grace's cakes, including the ones that I had right after our interview. For now though, here is the interview with Grace. So I'm here with Grace outside the cakes.co.ke shop. Grace, welcome to the show.
Thank you, I'm happy to be here.
Cool. So just to get us started, could you tell us a bit about you and a bit about cakes.co.ke?
So my name is Grace Murugi. I am the founder of cakes.co.ke. We've been in business for the last 8 years and we really love what we do. We have a lot of fun every single day, just baking cupcakes and cakes that grow to making wonderful memories for our customers. So we're extremely excited about what we do.
Great. And so when did the shop start? When did the business start?
The business is 8 years old actually, this October. We started in 2008 in Leicester University where I was a student. And then did that for some time in school, and then did that after that did the baking from home, and then after that we got our very first location on Fifth Avenue in Nairobi, and then now moved to Kindarama where we currently are located.
I see, and looking at the shop, it's pretty big. You've got a couple of floors.
Yes, so we have downstairs, we have one floor. So downstairs is the bakery and the decoration area in the kitchen. And upstairs we have the Cake Academy, where we train people on how to bake and decorate cakes. And so far, we've trained a couple of students who are running their own successful businesses. So it's really rewarding.
Oh, wow. So the Cake Academy is for other people to start their own cake shop.
Exactly. So the Cake Academy is geared towards training people how to bake professionally, how to decorate professionally, and also how to start their own businesses. So basically what we want is for people to be baking and decorating cakes professionally in Nairobi, and that's why we started the Cake Academy to raise the standards in the city and then in the nation.
I see. So before you started, was it a pretty low quality of cake that existed?
Yeah, so when we started off, one of the things we noticed is that some of the cakes that are out there are a bit outdated. So it's the same decor that's been put on cakes for years upon years. Like something needs to be done about this, and that's when we started training in 2012. And so since then, due to our contribution, also the contribution of other industry players, the standards in this industry have really risen. And so when the industry rises, we also rise with it.
Yeah. So in sort of simple terms, what is the new style of cake?
So the new style of cake, or let me say the innovative way of doing it now, is to first of all find out from the clients what do they want. So for like the whole of last year and also most of this year, most clients want a lot of chocolate decor on the cake. So as opposed to doing shavings, like what other chocolate art can we do on the cake? And then guys are also asking for a lot of fruit on the cake. So how creative can we get? Can we get like a star-shaped say popo, or like a heart-shaped apple going onto the cake? And so how creative can we get? And so there's been a lot of chocolate and a lot of fruit on cakes now. And even when you look at the international standards, most of the food actually comes from say some countries in the UK, like France, for example, is very big on food and also very big on pastries. And so when you look at those standards, they are also doing the exact same thing. And so we learn from them, and then we also learn from our customers, and then combine a blend. And yeah.
So how do you find out what is on the cakes in France?
Instagram. Yep. So we are huge on Instagram. I think I live on Instagram and Pinterest. So I'm forever, I follow people who I find really interesting and really creative with their cakes, and then try some of those techniques here, and customers are very happy with that. Yeah.
I see. So, for example, how many customers have you had this year?
So this year we have done approximately, so every single month we do between 70 and 100 birthday cakes. So this year so far we've done around 5,000. And then in terms of, that's birthday cakes, and then in terms of weddings we've done around 62. And then students we've trained around 100. So we are actually on track to do the next graduation in January. So if you'll be around, you're welcome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. And with the birthday cakes, so is it that people are coming in and saying, I want that one? Or are they often coming in and saying, I would like a custom made birthday cake?
So we do custom made cakes all the time. So some clients will look at the albums of different things we've done and pick from there. Then the other clients who will, come with a picture. I've seen this on the net, I want it done. So, but all the time it's custom cake so that we ensure that the cake is fresh. And it's not been baked and decorated and in the fridge waiting for you to come and collect it. Because you never know how long that cake has been there. So we're very big on fresh cake.
See. And as a rough ballpark, how much does a custom made cake cost?
Roughly 3,000.
3,000, so that's about $30.
$30, correct.
Sure. And are most people sort of happy to pay that?
Yes, our customers are happy to pay that. When we started off, we had honestly targeted the wrong client. And so we get a lot of questions about discounts. Or can you give us discounts? Can we, we've been buying your customer for the longest. We've been your customer for the longest time. Can you give us a discount? But then now, people are buying cake for even 18,000 Kenya shillings going up. So that's like $180 going up for a birthday cake.
Yeah, $18.
Yes.
Yeah, $18.
Yeah.
For a birthday cake.
No.
Oh no, 180,000. 180, really? Oh right, wow.
Yeah, for a birthday cake. So
what does that look like?
I'll show you pictures. It's a dessert table. So it has like 2 cakes, and then it has chocolate covered strawberries, it has decorated cookies, it has macarons, which are very big in this market now. It has cookies, it has cupcakes, it has mini cupcakes with big cupcakes. I mean, it has so many little things, but it's the most beautiful thing. You'll see it on our Instagram page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so who are the typical clients that come? Who are the customers? What's their demographic? What do they do for a job and things?
So our client currently is the upper middle class. Yeah. So this person earns maybe between 150,000 every month, Kenya shillings, to maybe 250,000. So in that same month, they'll spend maybe like 19,000 on food. And so now when we break it down like that, it actually becomes an industry that's worth 11 billion Kenya shillings.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very big industry.
I see. When did you make that calculation?
In July. There's a class I took that was very, very expensive. Like, who's your target audience? How much money do they spend on food and drink? And then how many of those are in Nairobi? And so when you do that entire map, the industry becomes 11 billion. So it's the most amazing thing. That's for custom cake in Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the wedding cake industry? Do you view that as a separate
So that's
category?
So the wedding cake industry is huge. It's bigger, definitely, than the birthday cake industry because first of all, wedding cakes are more expensive, and then they are more custom made. And so while say a birthday cake would just do a regular lemon cake, when we do lemon cake for a wedding, we'll have to put like lemon curd. So it's a totally different ball game. Like now we had a bride who sampled cake today and tried a German chocolate cake. So we would not regularly do that as a birthday cake. But then for weddings we go all out. And I mean it's really interesting. And so that's a much, much bigger market. Yeah, I could probably do the math and get back to you. Yeah.
And so if people don't get their wedding cakes or birthday cakes from you, where do they get them from?
So we have a few players. Actually, not a few. We have very many players now. Some of who are our students, so of course I'll start with them. So we have Gina's Bakes on Gong Road, and then we have Pastry Pleasures in South B, and then we have BY's Bakers in South C, and then of course on Gong Road again we have Modi Cakes, who's also my very good friend. We have Valentine Cake House, we have Cake City. So there are a couple of players in the industry. Yeah.
Why do people come to you and not the others?
Because of the innovation. Like we are big on ensuring that our cakes do not look the same year on year. So the way cakes look last year is not the way they look this year. It's also not the way they look next year. So now we're actually researching on how our cakes will look like next year. Then we're going to do a photo shoot on that, and then we're going to put that on our website and all our social media pages.
Oh wow! And I don't want to spoil the surprise, but is it sort of something revolutionary, or is it going to be like finessing an existing design?
It's going to be both, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to get some new designs. Like, I'm very excited about the design we'll have on our red velvet cake and our blueberry cake, and then some of the other designs are going to just be perfecting them, and then just changing something here and there, and then putting that up. So it's very exciting, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite cake?
Lemon cake.
Okay.
I love lemon cake.
Why?
So the lemon cake we bake the cake, and then when it gets out of the oven, we poke holes in it and then pour like a lemon drizzle on top. And then now we'll once it's completely cold, we'll layer it with lemon curd, and then now cover it all with lemon frosting.
Nice. Is that the most popular cake you sell, or what do other people like?
Amazingly, I'm the only one who likes that.
No.
It's so crazy. Our customers love our red velvet cake. They love our chocolate cake. They love black forest, white forest, passion, pina colada, blueberry. Yeah, so it's interesting. So I'm not in the business of selling my favorite cake.
That means you get to keep more for yourself. So
yes. I'm in the business of selling what the customers want, and so we are focusing on those flavors, not necessarily the lemon cake. Yeah, I'm sad about that.
When you look at your business, what are the main costs that you have?
The main costs now are, of course, the cost of production. So that's ingredients from flour, sugar, margarine, icing, sugar, eggs. So the cost of production. Then our other overheads are salaries and wages, and then we also have rent, and then the utilities. So that's electricity, water, and now the internet because we have Wi-Fi. Yeah, so that's normally pretty high.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what does your supply chain look like? How do you get your ingredients?
We have had suppliers who have worked with for the last 8 years, actually. So, and then slowly the new entrants into the market. But we buy wholesale, 100% wholesale. So we get some ingredients from some shops on Mombasa, some ingredients from town, others are delivered. So it's a whole network of so many things going on. Yeah, but then they're separate companies, and then wholesale price only.
And do they typically deliver to you, or do you sort of go out and drive and pick them up?
Half of our suppliers deliver, the other half we have to go and get them. It depends on how big the company is. So the smaller companies will deliver at no cost. Then the larger companies will not even bother delivering. They're like, you know what, you need us, you come to where we're at. Yeah, so it's a mixture of both.
And how difficult is it in terms of quality? Are you finding that all of your ingredients have a consistent quality, or is that sometimes a consideration in what you buy?
So we stick to specific brands because the specific brands that over the years have maintained quality. So their standards have been very high throughout, and so we stick to specific brands. So we'll use a specific brand of flour, we'll use a specific brand of icing sugar, of sugar itself. We'll use like maybe 2 to 3 specific suppliers for eggs, because an egg should be like maybe 50 to 60 grams for us to get the volume that we want out of the cake. So anyone who sells below that, 60 grams, now we can't take that egg, for example. And so the other thing with the suppliers is that you can't have like one supplier. So like for fresh cream, you can't have one supplier. So we have like 2 to 3. So
why can't you have one supplier?
Because if they let you down, you'll be in a lot of trouble. So it's always then if this person lets you down for one reason or another, and sometimes it's out of their control. Yeah. So if something comes up, maybe from their factory, then you can get cream from another factory, because at the end of the day, you cannot let your customers down.
Yeah. So does that mean that every week you're getting suppliers, fresh cream in from 2 or 3 different suppliers, just to keep the things ticking over?
Yeah.
And then if one of them fails, you can say, right, this week we want more.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. When it comes to training people how to make cakes, what are the key skills that you look for?
First of all, passion. Yeah, because you need to really, really be passionate about that industry for you to strive. And then baking skills. So, like for example, the class is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then we leave Thursday and Friday for home projects. So you go home, you bake the exact same thing you bake to the teacher in class, and then on Monday you bring that and then you're able to evaluate it together. So today is Monday, for example. So students brought to us the things they made at home over the weekend, yeah. And then I'm able to evaluate and go like, so your cake was a bit dry, so maybe you did this and the other. And it's amazing because I can look at cake and go like, you use less oil than you're supposed to, than the recipe called for. And the guys are like, how did you know you've not even tested the cake? I'm like, I can see, or I'll test the cake and go like, you used less eggs than you were supposed to use. And they're like, how did you know? I mean, but the texture of the cake says that you use less eggs than you're supposed to. So, yeah, so that's the purpose of the home project.
I see.
Yeah.
And with these recipes, are these recipes that you've written yourself?
Perfected,
Yeah. Okay, so as you originally researched them, you said actually, rather than 5 eggs, we need 4 eggs, that sort of thing.
Yes. So I took a class back in 2005, and then I took another class in 2006. And then from those classes, now I started writing my own recipes. So I'd bake that cake and go like, no, let me try another recipe, or let me change the recipe a bit and add one more egg. You'd be amazed at how one egg makes a world of difference. And then I'll try like the recipe that really, really took time was the red velvet cake recipe because I didn't really like the one I was taught in class. So I first of all switched from butter to oil, and it's amazing. The texture changed completely, and I loved it. Then you started like 150 ml of oil. Then I moved to 200 ml of oil, and then 225 was like the magic number. And so stuck there, and I was like, finally, I have the red velvet cake recipe that I've always wanted.
What is it that makes red velvet red?
So you can use two approaches. You can either use food color. The other route would be to use, natural colorants like beetroot.
Okay.
So we use the food color route because there's an aftertaste that beetroot has that I don't like. So we use the food color route. So you use food color, you use buttermilk, oil, sugar, flour, eggs, and then we do a mix of vanilla and raspberry flavor. Yeah, it's one of the most popular cakes here.
And the people, if they want to have one, can they only get it as birthday cake? Or are there other ways?
So you can get cupcakes. So we have vegan cupcakes. Every week we sell about 1,000 cupcakes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so guys will call like now, say on Monday, and go like, I want a box of 50. So we pack those and have them delivered. But then the following this month will call and say, I want a box of 70. And so with the 70 and 50, so that's it, already 120. And then now they're the walk-ins. So they will on average sell between 200 and 250 pieces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so in a week we sell like 1,000. So if you don't want like a whole cake, or you don't know what to do with a whole cake, or you just you're celebrating something smaller, then you can get the cupcakes.
And how much does a cupcake cost?
80 shillings.
18 cents.
Yeah.
In your store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the people who are buying like a box of 50, what are they buying it for?
They're buying for, say, celebrations at the office, or maybe there's somebody's birthday in the office. Maybe they have achieved like a goal that they wanted to achieve maybe that week. So they just buy to celebrate, small milestones, big milestones, someone's birthday. Yeah, there's always a reason to have to.
And how do you sort of mainly do your marketing? How do people hear about you?
So our target audience, our target market is online. Yeah. So they'll rarely read billboards or newspapers because now we're all reading newspapers on our phones, yeah? And so we reach them online. So we'll do Facebook ads. We're just about to start doing Instagram ads, and then eventually I hope to be able to do LinkedIn ads so that we can be able to reach more corporates because more corporates and the decision makers in corporates are on LinkedIn. Yeah, so we reach our customers online. The second place where we reach our customers is cake fairs. So we have one in June, every June, called Cake Festival, which is pretty big actually in this city. Then we have the Samantha Bridals Fair, which happens in February and in July. So we do the Cake Festival in June, the Samantha's Bridal Fair in July, and then the Samantha's Bridal Fair again in February. So from the Samantha's Bridal Fair, we're able to meet brides and grooms who constitute a big part of our of our clients. And then at the cake festival, you're able to meet customers who want to buy back the cakes and cupcakes. Yeah.
With the Facebook advertising you do, do you do that yourself or do you get somebody else to do it?
So I'm actually trained in digital media. Yeah, so I do that myself.
So which has been your most successful Facebook ad?
So our most successful Facebook campaign was one we did last year when we were talking about the academy. So first of all, we put quite some budget behind that, and then also the content was very welcoming because we're talking about like different students and where they're at to date. So we're not necessarily saying come to class, come take our baking classes. No, we were focusing on where are our women to date. And so there's one particular lady called Gina Speaks. So we really talked about her, and guys are like, "Oh my gosh, we know her!" Like when we're talking about cake in Kenya, we're talking about you guys, we're talking about this guys, and definitely talking about Gina. So a lot of guys are able to interact with her and go like, if she can get to where she is by taking your class, then this is legit.
See, so are people viewing Cake Academy as a way of sort of employment, essentially?
Correct. Owning your own business and even employing people.
So how much does it cost to go through the Cake Academy?
So the Cake Academy is 61,500 Kenya shillings, and it's a 3-month program. So you start with the basic class where you learn about how to make cupcakes and how to make birthday cakes, different ways of decorating them, different types of frosting, different types of cakes and cupcakes. And then we also do chocolate chip cookies in that class, and we do one dessert called chocolate mousse. Then from there you move to the intermediate class where now you learn about like different shape cakes. So you do like a doll cake, a guitar cake. So how to perfectly imitate that. Then also how to do logo creation, how to do edible logos using rice paper, and then introduction to royal icing. Then in the advanced class, you do advanced royal icing. Then you introduce fondant icing. So you learn how to do like sugar flowers and leaves and carnations and roses and all sorts of fun things with fondant. You can even do like a bow using fondant. So you can do a lot with fondant. And so wedding cakes also, how to set up a wedding cake. So for example, some of the students who completed the class last month will be joining us this weekend to go set up an actual wedding cake. So these are the things you need when you're setting up a wedding cake. So we'll show them that practically. And then in that class is when you learn how to make ice cream. And let me tell you, you've made your own ice cream. You will never buy ice cream from the store ever again. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. So so after the 3 months, what do most people do? So some people go off and start their own business. What do other people do?
So at the end of each class, we have a small like a bonus entrepreneurship session where now we talk about how to market cakes, how to price them, and how to basically how to sell. Then so after the 3-month program, 90% of the students will go and start their own businesses. So I mean, it's really interesting. It's really exciting for us also.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are the main sort of things that people find surprising when they do the Cake Academy? As in, when they go in and they're like, okay, I think it's going to be this, and then they learn
like people are surprised by the number of eggs in a sponge cake. You're like, this is so much egg. Let's put less. I'm like, no, when you put less, you will not get the air in the batter that you need. And so we have to separate the eggs and whip the egg whites fast, and then now add the egg yolks, and then whip that. Yes, and like, first of all, these are so many eggs, and this is such a long process. So most people are surprised by the process. So they get to appreciate the product more. So when we charge, say, 1,800 for a black forest cake, they're like, no wonder it now makes sense because it's such a long process. So you have to bake it, and then you have to soak it in ram, then you decorate it. Like it takes a long time. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think you'll be doing this for the next few years?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And hopefully focus on the Cake Academy. Like I have big dreams for the Cake Academy. Yeah.
What do you think it might look like in the future?
So in the future, I'd like to actually just focus on the Cake Academy and say partner with different academies abroad that are doing very well in that area. And then say after the students are done with the 3-month program, we have like internships locally, and then we also have internships internationally where students can go and interact with bakeries that are doing very, very well. And then they can, just for their minds to open up to thinking about, how the opportunities are endless. So that's what I hope to do. So the very first step is to get, say, City and Guilds accreditation, and then now pick up that process from there.
See.
Yeah.
And so since you started cakes.co.ke, so just cover cakes.co.ke, that's like the is that the website?
So that's actually the website.
Yeah.
And it's also what we trade as.
Okay. Yeah. So your traders like the website then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since you started, what have been the biggest things you've learned about running a business?
I've learned that passion is not everything. You really need to have the business skills, and you really need to understand like financial records. You need to understand how to sell, and then how to talk to customers, how to deal with an angry customer, how to basically run a business, and then how much money are we receiving, how much money are we spending, and so at the end of the day, how does our profit and loss statement look like? So passion when you're starting out is really, really important because it will keep you going, especially when the times are tough. But more important is the skills to running a business. And so one of the books that completely changed my life is a book called E-Myth. So it's E-Myth by a gentleman called Michael Gaba. So what Michael Gaba talks about is just generally how to run a business. So he talks about the technician. So a technician is the person who does everything. So the technician in my business would be me baking and decorating and doing everything by myself. And then eventually he talks about how not to become an entrepreneur, where you hire people and you have a team that does the operations, the daily running of the business. So from receiving an order all the way to baking, decorating, till dispatch, then I get to step aside and think and strategize and think about where we headed. So I mean, it's a brilliant book. I absolutely recommend it to anyone getting into business.
Yeah, I'll add it to the show notes for people to listen.
Yes, perfect.
So when did you get to a stage where you felt you were stepping back and you were thinking about the business more than doing it?
That was 2012.
2012.
And the purpose for that was I was expecting my first one. And so one of the things that I had noticed is that a lot of my friends who are ladies who are in business, who are now becoming mothers, lost their businesses when they went to maternity leave. And I was like, that's not going to happen to me. So what class do I need to take? What class do I need to take? I'll sign up for it. And then what books do I need to read? I'll read them. And so I took an entrepreneurship class called Greatness Business Club, which was brilliant, by a gentleman called Joram Moinamo. And so the classes talked about putting systems in place. So this is our accounting system. This is how our marketing system looks like. This is how our sales system looks like. So if somebody picks up the call, they say the exact same thing. Different people, but they have to follow a script. And then, do we bank money every single day? Do we mix money up? So the money that's supposed to be revenue, does that go and get spent as petty cash? So what does each system look like? And then where do we hire from? And then just how does our product look like? How does it not look like? What differentiates us? So that class really changed my life. And then I read Amy. And so we got our first baby in 2013. So 4 months before I went on maternity leave, I actually stepped back from the business and I didn't shop for like a week. And I was like, okay, so you're the manager, so here are your responsibilities. You are the head chef, these are your responsibilities. You're the head of the kitchen, these are your responsibilities. Everybody now just do your work. And then I didn't show up for like a whole week. And then I waited on my phone. I was like, my phone is going to ring. And then the first day it didn't ring. Then the second day it didn't ring. Then the third day they called and then they were like, no, we just wanted to check whether you're okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. How are you guys doing? They're like, no, we're good. Everyone is good. Everyone is happy. And I was like, amazing. Like the business is running without me. This is quite something. And so I just went on my second maternity leave because I just got a second baby now. And I mean, I was able to go and not even worry a day. So now I'm back, and so now I'm really, really thinking about what does 2017 look like, which now brings us back to the different innovations and different ideas that we're going to do for 2017. Hence now planning and strategizing for that year.
See.
Yeah.
So we'll just do a few more questions. That's all right. Yeah. So cakes.co.ke. Do you think you will sort of just have one premise, or is the view to get everyone to come to this one place, then do the Cake Academy, or are you hoping that you'll have many branches?
So the growth, so one of the things we are strongly working on is to just perfect our processes. So once we've perfected our processes, then we should be able to sell a franchise. So I wouldn't want to open a branch because that's a headache. Oh my gosh, that's a headache. I can feel the headache coming. I can feel it. So now when you're doing custom cake, my opinion is that the best way to grow is to franchise. So in a franchise, as opposed to opening a branch, someone will buy the franchise, buy the processes, they're already working, we've tried and tested them and they are perfect, and then they replicate exactly what we've been doing. So as opposed to opening branches, because this is very intense. So when you get, for example, and this is not the difference between like mass producing cake and custom making cake. When you're custom making cake, one client will come and say, I want macarons and I want like baby blue macarons, and then mixed with yellow macarons, mixed with pink macarons. So you really need to know what you're doing by the time you're receiving an order like that. And so opening a branch will, I mean, that's not the route we want to take. I think the franchise would be better. And then whoever owns a franchise buys into the dream and the plan that we have so that we can be able to represent the brand correctly. Yeah.
Cool. And people listening at home, where can they follow the story?
People listening at home.
Yep. How can they hear about cakes.co.ke? You got social media? Are you on?
Yes. Yeah. So we have a Facebook page, that's cakes.co.ke. We have an Instagram, that's cakes.co.ke. And of course, our website, which are currently redesigning, also cakes.co.ke.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll link to all those in the show notes. But great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. This is fun.
Before we head, just a quick moment to say thank you for listening. You can see the show notes of this episode by heading to samfloy.com/podcast and then searching for the episode title. That's samfloy.com/podcast. Now, a few people have got in touch and have been asking about how this podcast came about. And well, it all started when I took a one-way flight to Rwanda to seek out business opportunities across the region. I'm now at the stage of formulating a bit of a plan of the business I want to go into based on all of these podcast interviews, and we'll be keeping a record of what I get up to on my blog. And so if you're interested in being kept in the loop, you can sign up to the newsletter there. Again, it's samfloy.com. Also, if you have any questions, comments or feedback about the podcast, or indeed anything, please feel free to email me, podcast@samfloy.com, and I'd be very happy to chat. In any case, have a great week and speak to you soon.